A lot of bowlers struggle game one right out of the gate after practice when lanes are fresh, newly oiled, and they can be really, really tricky, both on a house shot and on a sport condition. And you can run into a lot of issues that cause you to get off to a bad start, and that changes your mentality through the entire day, and can very easily end up ruining your chances of doing something good later on. I could make this video really short and just say throw urethane, because that's probably what a really big part of all bowlers are going to do. But you also need other options, and there's starting to become more and more tournaments where you're not allowed to throw urethane, or where they do something with the pattern that makes it a little bit tricky to throw urethane. So you need to learn how to do it with reactive too. All right, that looks pretty good. But now the question is, how do I know that that's what I want to do on the fresh, on this pattern in this bowling center? I always look at it as two options. Either I'm going to start with one of my big, strong, early asymmetrical balls, like at the top of my bag. That could be Iron Max, Gem, Equinox Solid, like the one I have here. I'm going to make sure that on the fresh, where you've got the most amount of oil on the fresh, and you've got the driest part dry, like there's been no carry down, the oil hasn't really been touched yet, so there's going to be the biggest difference between oil and dry, which means the ball's going to skid easier and react harder when it gets to the dry. So it's going to be all about creating enough friction to get the ball to slow down and controlling that difference between wet and dry. So the big asymmetrical strong balls give me that early hook, which allows me to have it read the fresh oil enough, and then kind of go into that little more tumbling motion for it to go forward, almost kind of like having it roll out a little bit to create that control. That's option one. Option two is like the medium benchmark, a lot of times symmetrical balls. This can be phase two, like the one I brought here. It can be a Rockstar, Optimum Idol, Iron Pro Solid with some surface would be a good one too. Any kind of ball in that category, because they're going to be a little bit cleaner than the big ASIMs like the Equinox Solid, but they're going to be smooth and round, where the big ASIMs are going to be a little more heavy rolling and more tumbly often. So let's compare this one. That one also looks pretty good. Obviously, maybe just a little too clean right now, but it's doing the right thing. A lot of people run into, and why a lot of people use urethane, is the control. They just have a hard time creating enough control, enough smooth motion on the fresh to control the pattern until it kind of breaks down a little bit, settles down, and kind of starts to open up. So the big thing on fresh is control, smooth, controllable motion. You wanna look at not having any kind of sharp, aggressive reaction. You don't want your ball to force you to move left. You want your ball to allow you to play straighter, and you want to look at when your ball goes through the pins on a good pocket shot. You want to have your ball exit closer to the 9 pin than running over the 8 pin for a right-hander. Because that means that it's going forward into the pins, which also usually means that you're creating a smooth and more controllable motion going towards the pins, which is going to give you more control and a little bit easier to stay in that pocket when the lanes are changing a lot, and when you don't have a lot of room on the fresh, because you're bowling on sport pattern where there's not a lot of room right when they oil them. If you're trying to create too much angle or trying to get your ball to slide too far down lane, you're not going to have a lot of room. Strikes might look pretty cool when you get them, but when you miss a little bit, it's going to be pretty awkward. So take a look at something you probably don't want to do. This is a High Road 40, shiny, symmetrical, hierarchy. This is a ball towards the lower end of my bag, like balls I would use when the lanes get burned up pretty good, like towards end of blocks. Let's see what that looks like on the fresh. Actually looks really good, but that's also one of the issues with throwing those shiny, weaker balls on the fresh. When they look good, the shots, they look good, they look really good, and you can get tricked. But when you start moving a little bit, or you miss one a little bit or something, it's usually not very good. So let me try throwing one a little bit different here, like not like a really bad shot, but just a little off, and let's see what happens. Yeah, that was probably a little firm, a little right at the arrows, and it just keeps going, like it just completely falls off. If I do that with the Equinox Solid, it's gonna pick up there. It's still gonna at least have a chance to hit the pocket or give me some kind of chance at leaving myself with like a 9 spare or something. Where this one, because it's so much cleaner, if I throw it perfect, it looks really good. If I throw it a little bit off, it doesn't look very good. So let's say that one looks pretty good. I want to move a little bit because maybe I just left a 4-pin, so I want to move to left. I'm trying to throw another one. I'm just trying to go throw this one pretty good and see what happens. Yeah, you can see there was a 2-board move. That's really not that big of a move. I thought I threw that one pretty good, pretty close to the one where I struck that was 2 boards further right, and it never picks up. So you can really see how sensitive that kind of ball is if you try to throw it on the fresh where there's too much oil. If I take even the phase 2 that was a little bit too clean on the first shot, if I try to take that and go to left, probably don't need to go to the left with the phase 2, but like just gonna try see the difference here. Yeah, you can see, like, definitely I didn't need to move 2. Moving 2 off of the ring 10 I had with the first time wasn't the right move. Obviously I probably need to move 1 or 2 right instead, but it doesn't overshoot. It doesn't almost leave me like a 210 like the High Road 40 did. It just leaves me with a flat 10. I can get my 9 spare, I can move on, make a better adjustment, and keep it in the pocket. Like I don't go and miss the pocket, and that's the big thing. On the fresh, if you can be in control of the pocket, you are pretty much on any pattern you ball on, you're gonna be off to a pretty solid, good start. You don't need to shoot 270 game 1. You just don't want to kill yourself game 1 and shoot 120. And the way to do that is to hit the pocket. Don't get 6s, 7s, because those are going to be hard to make. Even if you're a good spare shooter, you're not going to make every 7 count you leave. So if you can hit the pocket, if you can get 9, you're probably going to bowl a pretty solid game most of the time, and you're going to move on to the rest of your tournament in good position, figure out what the transition is going to be, and you're not going to hurt your chances if you can get through game 1, especially on harder patterns. Get through game 1 with like 190, maybe a 2-0. You're going to be in fine position. You can make a run, and a little bit in the later games, and that's all you can ask for. We can't win anything, any tournament in game 1. We can just make it really hard for ourselves to end up with the trophy in the end if we get up to a bad start. So learn how to bowl on the fresh. Make sure you're looking for control. Look for that ball to be smooth and controllable off the end of the pattern, and have it go a little bit straighter into the pocket. Look at the deflection with the ball going more towards the 9-pin as it exits the pin deck than going through towards the 8-pin. That's going to tell you that you're creating a good amount of control, and then you can kind of micromanage it from there. But yeah, and make your ball choices according to that. Use balls that will give you control, whether that's a smooth symmetrical, whether that's a big asim, or whatever you need to work on that condition where you're bowling, whatever you need, just figure that out, figure out how to look for control, and then you can take the big angular balls, create a lot of angle, create a lot of skid snaps, so to speak, when the pattern's broken down, when you have room to do that. That's the time to do that and have it look cool, not on the fresh. Fresh is all about control. So hopefully this helps you get off to a little bit more solid starts when you're bowling those first games right after practice. Hopefully this helps you. Thanks for watching, and hopefully you like some of my other videos. I have a bunch of videos where I talk about what I'm doing to work on my game, and hopefully that can also help you with your game. So please watch some of those. I would really appreciate that. Thanks for watching.